Hello, everyone, and welcome to Wonderland. My name is Allison, the self proclaimed priestess of Wonderland, and I am also the creator of the Just a Phase Moon Planner. In today's video, we're going to talk about the major astro stuff that's happening for 2024. So, that's going to include all of the eclipses for this year, all of the Mercury retrogrades, if there's any weird moon things or out of the normal moon things happening, and as well as Retrograd-o-palooza, and which I'm terming this year the end of summer shit show. So if you haven't ordered your planner yet, you've still got time to order before the January 11th Capricorn new moon, which is the official start of 2024, speaking moon wise. And just a reminder that the digital version is also available. So even if you're not a planner person and you just kind of want the information, which is a lot of information in the planner, and you just want to follow along and read, I highly recommend the digital planner. And if you're looking to try digital planning, I highly recommend the digital planner because I'm a paper person, but I'm really surprised at how much I love having the digital planner. So I'm using both this year. I think maybe eventually I might get rid of a paper planner, but for right now I'm doing both. So let's jump into the astro energy, and then I've also got an intuitive tarot message for the collective for 2024, and that will be at the end of the video. As always, I have timestamps in the description, so if you're only interested in the tarot reading, you can jump directly to that. And you can also jump around to all of the different astro things, which is also really nice to have those timestamps so you can come back to it throughout 2024, as we get to that portion of the year. So let's jump into it. Okay, so even if you're not interested in the Just a Phase planner, this might be a useful information for everybody going into 2024. The big astro events that we have. So first of all, we're starting off the year with a Mercury retrograde again. So Mercury is going to be retrograde from December 13th of 2023 until January 2nd. So what this means for me is to always during a Mercury retrograde be careful of what you are saying, what you are communicating. Mercury is the planet of communication. So that's why wires get crossed. Things get kind of screwy, and you say one thing and somebody else hears it completely differently, takes it out of context, and then you're having this conflict that you're like, "What? I don't understand." Like, what happened? This is why technology gets really screwy, because technology is a form of communication. And this also means for me, just don't be forcing yourself to start something new on January 1st. Use January and the rest of the winter season to plan to build this solid foundation and structure from which to build on, continue to build on and grow for the rest of 2023. And that's what Capricorn season, you'll read this in the planner. That's what Capricorn season is all about, is building that foundation from which to achieve. So we're starting off the year with a Mercury retrograde. We have 4 Mercury retrogrades every year. The first one is going to be at the very beginning of the year, but luckily going direct January 2nd. So this is not too bad. That means the rest of January we're going to be uh, heading out of that kind of frustrating, kind of stuck energy. Our next Mercury retrograde is going to be April 4th through April 25th, which will be during eclipse season as well. So our second Mercury retrograde is going to be during eclipse season. So this might be a little bit more emotional and heightened energy, because eclipses are talking about the sun and the moon. Moon represents our emotions, and the sun represents our ego and how we put ourselves out in the world. So this is a solar eclipse in Aries during this time. So Aries is very fiery and volatile as well. So that's something to keep a heads up for. And also, that's springtime. This is when we really, really want to be coming out of hibernation and starting new things. So there might be a little bit of a sticky start to some things, even though Aries is usually that like activating sign. Our third Mercury retrograde is going to, and this is the big one. The Mercury retrogrades are what we're going to have to look forward to this year. But the third one, and Leos, hold on to your hats because our third Mercury retrograde is during Leo season from August 5th through August 28th. So it's the majority of Leo season and into Virgo season as well. So this is not good news for Leos. I know everybody else has experienced Mercury retrogrades around their birthday, but Leos like to be celebrated. They like to be in the spotlight. So this really makes me think that like if you have big plans for your Leo birthday party or the Leo in your life's birthday party, make sure those plans are really organized and to the point, or let go of your expectations and take it as it comes because Mercury retrogrades are about relearning things and there's just nothing you can do about it. It's out of your control. So that's the big one. It's so rude of Mercury to do this to Leo. I don't even know what to expect, to be honest. I am a Leo, so I'm just like, oh my God. I'm glad it wasn't last year because last year was my big milestone birthday. So maybe I just won't even care this year. And then our last Mercury retrograde, and here's the good thing. Here's the good thing. Our last Mercury retrograde is November 25th through December 15th. So that means finally, at the end of 2024, we finally have a new year without a Mercury retrograde. It's been a couple of years at least since we've had that. And well, as long as I've been making the planner, we've had a Mercury retrograde on a new year. So finally, Mercury's going direct December 15th. So we have a good 2 weeks before New Year's Eve to be really getting clear and communicating our intentions for the new year of 2025. So that's Mercury. Mercury is really close to us and it really impacts our lives on a regular basis. Luckily, it's only 2 weeks. The other thing about the retrogrades this year is Retrograd-o-palooza is starting earlier. That's why we had our Mercury earlier than usual. And that's why, I mean, this is a good thing and a bad thing. It's good that we are going to end the year free and clear of a Mercury retrograde, but that's what is making um, Mercury or Retrograd-o-palooza happening earlier. And also just that Leo season Mercury retrograde, I think is just going to be like what? It's going to be dramatic. Leo's dramatic. So Retrograd-o-palooza is starting, or the planets begin to go retrograde May 5th. This is a lot earlier. Usually we kind of start to see that one planet boop, 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 boop going retrograde around the end of the summer. So this is the beginning of the summer. So Pluto's the first to go on May 5th. Saturn is next, June 29th. Neptune is July 2nd. Chiron is July 26th. Mercury, like I said, August 5th. Uranus is September. Jupiter, October. And then Mars is going retrograde December 6th until February of 2025. So even though we are free and clear of a Mercury retrograde at the end of 2024, we are having a Mars retrograde until February. So this is like no action whatsoever. You can be clear and precise and communicate your intentions at the end of 2024, but you're not taking action on any intentions, any resolutions until February at least. So those are all the retrogrades of 2024. The other thing I want to mention is the eclipses. So we have 4 eclipses a year, 2 solar and 2 lunar. The first one during the Mercury retrograde, or Yeah, well, half of it. One of the eclipses is during the retrograde. So the first one is a lunar eclipse on March 25th. The lunar eclipse in Libra. So we're having two Libra eclipses and an Aries and Pisces. March 25th is the lunar eclipse in Libra. So this means it's a full moon in Libra. And Libra, we had our eclipses in Libra in 2023. So Libra helps balance the scales. And what happens when the scales, like you need the scales to be unbalanced in order to rebalance them. So that means something is going to be shifting in your life, and the eclipse is going to bring something up, bring something to the surface, and your scale is going to go like this, and you're going to be like, you're going to figure out how do we get this like balanced again? And that's paired with a solar eclipse in Aries again during that Mercury retrograde. Aries is fire, action, let's start, let's go. So this feels a little bit frustrating. Like, how do you start when you're unbalanced? You got to like get balanced before, or you're just going to like, you can't jump off on that race if like one of your feet isn't the same height. I don't know. That's a really bad analogy. So Libra and Aries are the eclipses for the spring, and then the fall eclipses, September 17th is a lunar eclipse in Pisces, and then October 2nd is a solar eclipse in Libra. So we have that Libra full moon in the spring, and then the Libra new moon in the fall, and then Pisces and Aries are really close to each other, so it just happens that like a lot of times you will have pairs, like we have a Libra lunar eclipse, and then we'll have a Libra solar eclipse. And then a lot of times you'll have an Aries solar eclipse with an Aries lunar eclipse, but that's not the case this year. It's an Aries solar eclipse with a Pisces lunar eclipse. So Pisces is watery, dreamy, it's Neptune energy, it's subconscious. So I kind of like Pisces eclipses because I have Pisces in my chart, but Pisces is already watery and dreamy and subconscious and fantasy and illusion. And so are eclipses. So they kind of just go together. I don't know. They're also very cleansing and releasing. It's a water sign, so it gives this opportunity to like clear away all the clouds, clear away the fog, so that you can see your dreams clearly, see your dreams and your goals clearly. So the other big thing of 2024, I talked about it when I was talking about the stars here. We have two Capricorn full moons. The first one is going to be on June 21st, which is also the summer solstice. So this is the full moon time of year. This is the sun is bright, the moon is bright, and Capricorn wants to shine its light on all of the things that you have accomplished since January. So that's what your gold stars are. Everything that you've accomplished, put a gold star on it, acknowledge it, pat yourself on the back, throw a party, because that's the first Capricorn full moon. Second Capricorn full moon is the following month. It's going to be July 21st. So we have more gold stars for you to put on your accomplishments. But in this case, uh, July 21st is during Cancer season. So we are focusing on self-care. How have you been able to take care of yourself? And because we need to fill our own cup in order to have energy to achieve our goals and to accomplish things. So you're going to be putting your gold stars on what have you done for yourself lately? And if you haven't done much for yourself lately, add things to those charts so that you can check them off and put your gold star on them. That's the big energy for 2024. It's also an 8-year, which is the infinity symbol that you'll see on the cover of the planner. And this is really 2023 was this balancing of the scales of finding equilibrium, finding harmony. And the 8th year is that harmony and that balance. So we've hopefully created this foundation, which is 4 and 4, like 4 is the foundation, is the stability. So we've got 2 feet forely planted on the ground, and hopefully 2024 is going to be a really productive year in the sense of rebuilding all of those structures that crumbled the last few years. Every societal structure, everything that we saw crumble, now we are building that new foundation for the new world that we want to live in. So I'm super excited for 2024. I hope you are too. Okay, so I have to be honest. This is a reading that I pulled specifically for the collective for 2024 as like, what do we need to know heading into this new year? Originally, this was intended for the Witching Hours podcast for their 2024 prediction episode. But whenever I'm live, especially when I'm live with other people, I just get really excited and I talk too fast and I barely breathe. Like I kept running out of breath and I didn't know what I had said and what I hadn't said. I think I kind of talked about the cards at some point, but I didn't go over the actual reading. So this is for this is my 2020 completing the 2020 my 2024 predictions. Honestly, when I really procrastinated about sitting down and doing this reading because I did have some, I don't know, I just had this hesitation and this feeling that like, I had this feeling that like things are going to have to get worse before they get better. And I just kind of I didn't really want to, like, look into that and see what that might be. I don't know. I'm kind of, the type of person who I'm really good in emergency situations. It's actually, like, really surprising to me that I'm always, like, calm, cool, collected in like, stressful, crazy situations. But, like, handling regular everyday to day stuff is, like, terrifying to me. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. So I personally I'd rather like I know that I'm going to be okay and no matter what happens in any stressful situation, I know I'm going to be able to handle myself. I know that like my authentic automatic self like will kick in and survival mode will happen or like helping and service mode will happen. Like no matter what, I know that I'm going to be able to like handle any catastrophic event. Not that I'm saying that, like, that might happen, but it's just I'd rather not know what's gonna happen because I know I'm gonna be able to handle myself, and I know that if I know, then I'll just be worried about it, anticipating it, anxious so I don't know, that's just how I am. I know everybody's different. So I just went in, um kind of hesitant to do this reading, but I am kind of pleasantly surprised. And if you want to get more detailed into what those crazy obstacles that we might all be facing this year are, definitely go check out the Witching Hours podcast 2024 predictions because they had 3 other tarot readers, um, psychic, medium, magical people, whatever you want to call it, have their predictions for 2024 as well. So definitely go check that out because they definitely they're braver than I am and kind of tried to take a peek about like what that can mean, what areas of life that it could affect. And they were all very cohesive of each other. And so I highly recommend going to check that out. So I don't want to know the details. I just want to know the overall energy because I know that I can handle it. Like I know that and I need to go into a year having a positive mindset because I know that my mind can go to that anxious, dark place, and I don't need any help doing that. Like, I don't need to worry any more than I already do. So I like to just look at 2024 as like, what can we take with us that might help us through whatever life might throw at us this year? And the first 3 cards that we have, I love. I love, love, love so much. We have the Magician, Temperance, and the Queen of Pentacles. Now, remember that like this is a collective reading, but I like this is specifically for, the people that are going to watch my videos, the people that are in this community. And the people that are in this community are people that have already been doing spiritual work. You've already been going to therapy. You've already been trying to heal your inner child. You've already been trying to wake up. You've already woken up. Like, you know that there is something more out there than what we are programmed to believe within society. So I believe that those of us in this community and those of you watching this video are light workers, you're healers, you're whatever you want to call it, like you're spiritual. And you have all the tools that you need. You have the breath work and the meditation and the connection to your guides and the connection to this community. We have all the tools that we need to deal with whatever is going to come our way in 2024. Whether that is like a physical, like spiritual tool, like breath work, meditation, crystals, energy work, tarot cards, spirit guides, like whatever that tool is, the community can also be a tool. So we have this connection to lift each other up. The word that I was getting when I pulled the temperance card was peace. And I mean, there are multiple world wars going on in the world right now. So I am hoping for peace. And that was, I mean, it was just like this word that it was just like peace, 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 like coming up when I was doing this reading. So um I also feel like the temperance uh, confirms and reiterates what I've been saying about 2023. Like 2023 was the 7 year, the 4 and the 3. The like, how do we maintain balance when we're missing a leg here? Like we learned how to use our tools. Whenever we're getting knocked off, we're getting picked back up and we're getting back on track. Like we know how to maintain balance or re-regulate or recenter, reground to maintain balance no matter what is thrown at us. We can do it. We know how to do it. But now in this, so that's what we learned in 2023. That was a 7 year. Now we have this 8 year where we've got all four table legs on the ground. No more flipping tables this year, hopefully. Like we've got all four legs on the ground. This is a good thing. And that brings me to the Queen of Pentacles. The Queen of Pentacles is grounded and stable and centered. She has all her legs on the ground. She has her finances in order. She's got prosperity and abundance coming her way. She's calm, cool, and collected in the face of whatever life throws at her. So we're able to maintain our position of power, but in a loving and compassionate way. The king is not going to use their heart as much. The queen is. The queen is can be soft, loving, caring, and nurturing, as well as grounded, stable, and powerful, while being loving, caring, and nurturing all at the same time. Excuse me. So the next cards that come up are the Six of Pentacles and the Chariot, but the Chariot is in reversed. So when I saw that the Chariot was reversed, I really felt like this time period is representative of the Retrograd-o-palooza that I talked about earlier in this video, and how it's like it's not only starting earlier, but it's also ending later. So it's like more spread out. The last few years, Retrograd-o-palooza has been like a 3 month window of just like all the planets being stuck. And this year, it's a little bit more spread out and elongated. Not everybody is retrograde at the same time, but they're still close together and kind of overlapping each other. So that's what this made me think of is this is probably representing that time period, extended time period from like May until February of next year, where it's just like nothing's really moving forward and might feel a little bit stuck. However, with the 6 of Pentacles here, this I could not like, I always think, like, this is the charity card. This is about receiving help when you need it. But I was really feeling kind of the opposite edge of that, of, like, lending a helping hand when you're able to. If you see somebody who's struggling and you're able to help, ask them if they need help. It's really important that you do ask, because not everybody is gonna be open and receptive to receiving help, but at least them knowing that you're there if they decide to take help, I think, like lending the helping hand, like being this hand that is reaching down to this person offering to help, I think is going to be really significant for those of us in our community, because we have all our tools. We know what to do when we can still get triggered. We're going to get triggered. Things are going to happen. Obstacles are going to enter our life. But we know how to get back on track. We know how to, okay, take the blow, absorb it, integrate it, reflect it, reject it, like whatever it is that you need to do, heal it, whatever. We know how to do that, and we know how to help other people to do that. Then the last card that we have here is the 7 of Swords, and it's also in reverse. And the message that this was giving me is kind of atypical of like what this card represents, because in my 2023 prediction reading, this card came up a lot, as well as the 5 of Swords. So the 5 of Swords and the 7 of Swords are like deceit, trickery. The 5 of Swords specifically is self-sabotage. So these are kind of like really uncomfortable, sticky things. But because it like I think it came up 2 or 3 times for both the 7 of Swords and the 5 of Swords in last year's reading, having this reversed here, I think is telling me that, like, we healed that thing, we learned that lesson, we're not doing that anymore. So that's what this was saying to me. I mean, typically the 7 of Swords can be surrendering, admitting defeat, but I do feel like this was more representative of or reflective of last year's reading, and that, like, we're not falling for those tricks anymore. We're not falling for our own self-sabotaging behavior. That's what this card was really speaking to me. So, I have also asked for a ascended master to give us a message, and Mary Magdalene is here. The message on the card is sacred vessel. You are the answer. Be guided to your purpose. And I'm going to read the message of the card. But first, I just kind of want to say I don't know much about Mary Magdalene other than the fact that, like, she's from the Bible. It's my understanding that she's very misunderstood and misrepresented within the Bible because of her being a woman. I also I did a little bit of research before this reading or before filming this, because I wanted to like get at least some facts straight, because my understanding was that, like, she was thought to have been a prostitute. Um, but I guess it turns out that, like, she was considered a prostitute until, like, 1969, when they discovered that they were confusing her with somebody else who may have been a prostitute or whatever. So, my understanding of her is that she was a disciple of Jesus, but because she was a woman, she was not included as one of the apostles. So, like, she would have been, in my opinion, or should have been, in my opinion, the 13th apostle. Um, I was also reading that, like, she really understood the teachings of Jesus, like what he was trying to portray, when like the other 12 apostles wouldn't understand or couldn't grasp what he was trying to teach them or portray to them, but she would understand it. Like she was very intuitive, and I would go out on a limb and say that she was psychic. And I mean, she was a true believer and follower of Jesus, and did a lot, but did not get any credit for it because she was a woman or whatever. I don't know. So that's all I know about Mary Magdalene. But I am going to read her message from this guidebook too, and kind of uh, relay back how I feel like it relates to this. So, Mary Magdalene, or Mary of Magdala, was one of the original followers of Jesus Christ. It has been recorded that she had the first vision of the risen Christ when she went to his tomb on Easter morning. And it was through this vision that he revealed to her his sacred teachings and initiated her as a teacher. She was the apostle to the apostles, and it is therefore through her that a pivotal aspect of the original teachings of Christ has reached the world. Mary has a highly sensitive clairvoyant. Oh, I should have read this before. Mary has a highly sensitive clairvoyant, and it has been speculated that she was the partner slash wife slash design divine consort of Jesus. If Jesus was the vehicle for Christ's energy, Mary was the vehicle for the Magdalene, a powerful feminine force that renders all beings equal and helps the world see that the voices of the feminine are not only important, but the sacred force that can save the world from ruin. So I get chills just like reading that message in relationship to like what's happening in the world today. We see this shift. It's a slow shift, but it's still a shift of moving to more divine feminine and kind of away from the masculine. My hope in that is that it's not just, we're not just going to go to total freaking matriarchy, that it's going to be more balanced because we understand we need the masculine and we need the feminine. We need them to work together. So, the message of this card is you are the answer that you seek. You hold the treasure, the magic, and the mystery. Right now, you are being encouraged to recognize that you are a valuable part of the universe's plan. If you have a strong desire to share what you have learned, it's time to do so. This can be scary and sometimes overwhelming because putting yourself out there can leave you open to scrutiny. But if you are comfortable with your gifts and teachings, you hold a sacred energy that allows others to see you clearly. The light of the Magdalene is surrounding you now and encouraging you to recognize that the healing you have experienced is exactly what you are here to teach. Take some time to reflect on what you have overcome and see that this experience can help many. Your personal testimony can move others and even mountains. Lean on your Creator and know that you are being called to be a vessel for the sacred. So, how I feel like this uh, really fits in with this reading, on top of like what we've already said about being the magician, we've all the obstacles and everything that we've learned. We know how to do this. Like we know how to do this, and we need to share that with the world. And Mary Magdalene can help empower us to share those gifts with the world. But what really jumps out at me about her in general is how I mean, she was psychic, she was clairvoyant, and she was standing right alongside Jesus, but was not acknowledged or respected for how powerful and wise she was simply because she was a woman. And I think that everyone in this community can, whether you're a woman or not, can relate to like, we are the weirdos, we are the misfits, we are the misunderstood, magical people that have managed to not snuff out that light, even though the rest of the world has shunned us or outcast us, or even though we don't fit in. Like, whatever. Like she didn't fit in, but she still believed and she still followed the light and she still shared the knowledge and she's still lent a helping hand to those who needed it and played a very integral part and significant role, whether or not she got credit for it or not. So I think that everyone in this community can relate to being the outcast and to not be given the credit that like you deserve for being the one that is lending a helping hand or being the one that is doing the internal work. Because when we do the internal work, we're helping society as a whole. And you deserve credit for it. That's why I gave you gold stars with the planner. Like, you deserve pat yourself on the back. Even if nobody else is doing it, you can still do that to yourself and for yourself. So that is my reading and encouragement for 2024. Know that no matter what obstacle 2024 throws at you, you have all the tools. We can maintain balance. We can be strong and powerful. Even if we feel stuck, even if we feel discouraged, we can we can hone our power, use our tools, lend a helping hand when we need it. And I think there's going to be a lot of us out there that need it. And as a community, we can support each other. And as light workers and healers and weirdos, misfits, and freaks, like we can be that light. We can welcome others into our community and just help learn, share, teach, and grow and evolve together. So, just as a reminder, if you would like a copy of the Just a Phase Moon Planner, that is still available, both digital and hard copy. Bio planner. Have a good 2024. Thank you and good night.